Hello everyone, welcome to Learn with Ceri. Well done on completing all the quests at stage 1. Here are some solutions, tips and tricks for quest 5. Let's take a quick look at question 3. The star prism below has the star base with perimeter 70. The surface area of one star base is 24. The height of every rectangular face is 11. What is the total surface area of the prism? Now we have looked at area quite a few times. So surface area is all the faces, the coverage that you'd need if you were painting it, for example, for all the faces. So we've got a face top and bottom, and then we've got all those little rectangles that would be needed all the way round. So let's have a look at those rectangles. We're told at the top, let's actually write down that we know that the top of the object is going to have an area of 24 and the base is also going to be 24. So what we need is to work out this rectangle all the way around. Now we're told that we've got 17. Now there's going to be 2 rectangles for every point. So we've actually got 10 of these rectangles all the way around. Now we were told the total perimeter is 70. So we need a number that's multiplied by 10 to be 70. So that's going to have to be a 7. And we were also told that the height is 11. So we're going to have 10 of these, and each one has an area of 7 times 11. So 7 11s are 77. Multiply that by 10, we get 770. There we go. And we've also got, so our total surface area, I'm just going to write SA for my surface area, is 770 plus 2 24s, which is 48. So we end up with a total surface area of 818. There we go. And if it was centimetres, we'd say centimetres squared, but we don't need that for this occasion. We just need the total number, 818. Well, I'm sure you're getting quite good at the angles ones by now. This was a bit tricky, but let's have a look how we can break it down. Question 8. In the diagram shown, ray OA is perpendicular to ray OC. Ray OB is perpendicular to ray OD. I'm just going to pause for a moment and just put some highlights on there. So from O to A round to O to C is a 90-degree angle. So I'm going to put a little highlighted box there. And from OB round to OD is also a 90-degree angle. So I'm going to put a little box on there as well. So they're both 90-degree angles. If the measure of angle AOD is 9 times the measure of angle BOC, what's the measure of obtuse angle AOD in degrees? So we need to know what's the size of this full turn here, and we know it's 9 times the size of this little turn here. This little turn here is going to be quite crucial. I'm going to call that bit X. So the full turn from AO all the way round to OD is going to be worth, let's do this in colour coded, the orange turn 90 from A, so we've got a 90 from A around to C, and then we're going to add on the green turn from here around is going to only be 90 minus that extra little bit that was the overlap, and that has to be equal to, well, we're told that it's 9 times the size of the little bit. So the full turn is 9 times the size of the little bit that I've called X. Now those of you who are good at solving equations will know that 90 and 90 is 180 minus X is 9X. You can solve that by adding X to both sides and getting 10X, and then you get that 18 is the value of 1X. So we then are asked but that's just this bit here that's 18 degrees. We need to know the full turn, which is 9 times 18. 9 times 18 is 1 less than 10 times 18. 180 minus 18 is 162 degrees. And that is the answer we're looking for. If you prefer the bar modelling method for solving equations, let's have a look at that. Let's make this our two 90 degrees. So the orange 90 and the green 90. But we know that the green 90 is loses that x, it overlaps if we want all the way round, so we have to chop a chunk off that second 90, and we'll call that our little x there. So that shows that this is now 90 minus x, if I just put a little bracket on there to show that all the way is 90. Right, so the pink is what we need to work out. We are told that the little x, 9 of the little x has to equal the full turn. So let's copy that out 9 times, and then you can see that 5 boxes lines up with 90. And if you divide 90 by 5, you get 18. So that works out that 1 box is 18. And then again, you've got 18 times 9, which we worked out before was 162 degrees. There you go, guys. It's a slightly different approach to solving equations. Let's just put a little wiggle down here so we don't get mixed up. Okay, let's move on. And we're moving on to a fractions question. I have 3 bottles of the same size. One is a third full with water, another's quarter full with water, and the last one is a fifth full with water. I add oil to each bottle until every bottle is half full with liquid. Then I pour all 3 bottles into a big bowl. The ratio of oil to water in the bowl, in simplest terms, can be written A to B. What is A plus B? Well, when I've got ratios, one thing I really like to do at the beginning is to just make sure I write the words in the order that they are in the question, so that I know which one's A and which one's B. So oil was first and water was second. So it's oil to water. And I think we're going to need 3 containers. So there we go, 3 containers. We're going to fill them a third with water. So this one is a third of the container. I'm going to roughly guess that that's about there. And then it gets filled up to halfway. All of them get filled up to halfway. So let's stick a line on there for halfway. I really feel like I'd like some numbers to work this out. So I'm going to choose a number for the capacity of each bottle, and I'm going to decide, I actually decided to choose a number that divides by all of them through the denominators 3, 4 and 5, and that I've chosen to be 60, which is actually the lowest common denominator. Any number that's a multiple of 60 would work. So our halfway line is 30. The first one, a third full with water, is going to be 60 divided by 3, so that makes 20. So let's actually write it inside, 20. And so the oil would therefore be 10. The next one, water, is going to be at a quarter full. A quarter of 60 is 15. Oh, I didn't quite get that line in a great place, but we know that 15 and 15 makes 30. And the final one is a fifth full with water. And if we divide 60 by 5, we get 12. And so 12 plus 18 is what's going to fill that up to halfway. And then all of those 30s get thrown in to another, poured in to a big bowl. So we're going to have in there the oil. Let's do the oil first because A is oil. Oil is 10 plus 15 plus 18, and water is going to be 20 plus 15 plus 12. And so if we add those two numbers up, those sets of numbers up, we get 43 for the oil, and we get 35, 47 for our water. Oh, and that doesn't simplify. So actually, because we chose the lowest common multiple, probably, it's ended up being our simplest form already. And so our final solution has to be whatever those two numbers added together are. And I'm sure you can see that 3 plus 7 is 10. So if we add A plus B, we get 90. And that's our final answer. There you go, guys. A little picture does help every time, I think. On this kind of problem, anyway. So all that's left now is the final question of all of stage 1. Question 10. Consecutive integers are integers that are next to each other on a number line. For example, 1 and 2, 67, 68. I think we might have met consecutive integers just before, haven't we? If A and B are consecutive integers, what's the smallest possible value of A plus B? Such that 4 to the power A added to 4 to the power B is larger than 1,000. Well, we can't do much without knowing our powers here, so let's do 4 to the power 1 is 4. 4 to the power 2 is 4 fours are 16. Multiply that by another 4 and we get 64. Multiply that by another 4, 64. Double it and double it again. So 128 doubled, 256. Right, well, adding those two numbers together, because we need consecutive integers. So we're looking at these two numbers here having to be, oh, I can't get my highlighter to work. There we go. These two numbers here have to be in order, so 3 followed by 4. And if you add these two numbers together, you need a total of more than 1,000, and that's not going to work. But I think the next one is, isn't it? Because when we times 256 by for another 4, we get 250 times 4 is 1,000. 6 times 4 is 24. That's a nice number. So let's go green for our highlighter this time. That's a bit more successful. There we go. And if we add them together, we get a number larger than 1,000. I'm not going to waste time working out what that actually is, because what we need to work out is this number, this power, and this power. Some people index, this index plus this index. Our indices or powers add up to 4 plus 5, and 4 plus 5 is 9, and that is the answer we are looking for in this problem. There you go, guys, 9. And that takes us to the end of stage 1. Well done, everybody. So just all that's left is to wish you good luck for stage 2. Bye bye for now.